Over the past year and a half, I have purchased a ton of fragrances. As of right now, I have well over 80 bottles. It's actually become quite a bit of an addiction, and if I'm being completely honest, a problem. A few months ago, I made this video, which was my spring fragrance rotation, and now we're already in fall. Man, where did that time go? Summer has now passed us, and I never got around to making a summer fragrance video, mainly due to personal reasons, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. But if you want to learn more about that, I'm going to link that video right up here for you to check out. But now it is fall time, and this time is all about fall fragrances. We're ditching the citrusy, fresh, aquatic, oceanic fragrances for something rich, warm, and cozy. The leaves have turned and are beginning to fall, and the weather, in my opinion, is near perfect. I have 10 fragrances that I'm going to cover in this video that are fantastic for this time of year. If you don't already own any of these fragrances, I'm linking all 10 down below in the description section, so you can treat yourself to a bottle or two. For full disclosure, those links will be affiliate links, which won't cost you anything, but it allows for you to support me and the content. It helps me keep making videos for you guys. And just maybe I can grab myself another fragrance to share with you guys since, well, I've tapped out of my fragrance funds. If you're new to the channel, I am Rio, and here we discuss men's style and fashion topics designed to help you guys look and feel your best. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to become a part of the family and set notifications to all so you'll be notified for future videos. So the first fragrance on this list is going to be a new one. This one I recently released, and it is the new YSL Myself. With this one being a new release, YSL was gracious enough to send this one over to me. I must say, this one smells amazing. You'll find some people love it and some people just hate it. I myself actually like the fragrance. This one does lean to be more of a end of summer fragrance going into fall. And quite frankly, it works as a fragrance year round. So you can wear this fragrance no matter what time of year that it is. You're gonna find those citrus notes in there, some floral notes, patchouli, woody, and it dries down to something warm and spicy. So therefore, you're pretty much covering all of those seasons right there in this fragrance. So it's definitely going to be a year-round fragrance. In the fall, I think it works really well. It gives you a bit of that crisp feel that some of these other fragrances on this list probably won't give you. I think this is an amazing fragrance, and I don't know why the reviews on this one are so bad. For me, it is definitely an amazing smelling fragrance. And since I've had it for maybe a month. I've probably worn it a good 4 to 5 times. And for one fragrance within a month, that can be a lot when you have over 80 bottles. Moving on to the second fragrance, and this one is going to be a staple for your fall fragrance rotation. If you are new to fragrances and you don't know much about this fragrance, this is one that I personally would recommend, and that is going to be Dior Homme Intense. With this fragrance, you're definitely going to get that richness. It's a bit powdery, it's woody. In my opinion, it's going to be a fall scent. Guys, fellas, listen, if you love smelling good, you love smelling great, this fragrance is going to do it for you. Dior Homme Intense Eau de Parfum is definitely a fall fragrance that I think you should have. Another fragrance, in my opinion, is going to work really well year round, and that's going to be Ralph's Club Parfum. Ralph's Club Eau de Parfum was one of my personal favorite fragrances, and when I got it, I wore that fragrance quite a bit. And now since I have this one, they have since released an elixir, which I haven't had a chance to smell yet. I'm sure I will soon, but the Parfum is such an amazing smelling fragrance. It's aromatic, you get the woody notes in there, you get some of the citrus in there, it dries down to something a bit earthy and fruity. It is just a really great year-round fragrance, but because it has that richness in there, it just works really well in the fall. This is all opinionated, but let me know what you think down below in the comment sections if you had a chance to smell this and would you recommend it for this time of year. For some, it can be a bit generic. But the thing about me is I don't mind generic fragrances. To me, this is a masculine scent. And I think any guy who likes masculine fragrances, not to say that there's anything wrong with feminine fragrances, because some of these fragrances on this list can teeter to each side, but this one is primarily a man's fragrance. This is a very masculine fragrance. So if you consider yourself to be a masculine man, this one, Ralph's Club Parfum, should be in your collection. Next on the list, we have another Parfum. This one by Giorgio Armani, which is going to be Armani Code Parfum. When I first smelled this fragrance, I actually was not the biggest fan of it. However, it has since grown on me and it became a fragrance I really like the smell of. It has a bit of that powderiness to it. It's a bit woody, fresh, aromatic. It has a little bit of citrus in there. It's a fragrance that is going to be for the colder months. So got some in my eye there. Woo. Of course, every season can be broken down into multiple parts. So you have the early, the mid, and the late. This one, in my opinion, is going to be more for the mid to late fall, also for winter. With it being a parfum, it has a little bit of that heaviness, a little bit of that richness to it. So therefore, it's going to be really, really good for these cold weather seasons. Armani Code Parfum is definitely a fragrance that I would recommend for anyone who wants something that's going to give you that fresh, powdery, woody scent. This one covers all of those. Next up, we have a fragrance that's going to be primarily a fall winter fragrance, leaning more towards the fall than to the winter, again, in my opinion. That fragrance is going to be Abercrombie Fierce Reserve. Now, of course, everyone knows that Abercrombie Fierce is such a popular fragrance. It's popular amongst the younger crowd, it's great for teens, great for guys in their 20s, and I think guys in their 30s and above can wear it as well. And as a matter of fact, they do. It's warm and it's cozy. Again, just like a fall fragrance should be. You have the amber notes, the sage, leather, and whiskey. All those things combined just mixes to give you a nice, rich, dark, amazing smelling fragrance. When you smell it, it just smells like fall. When you smell it, you just imagining leaves falling, you imagine red, orange, you just imagine all of those colors. This one, I do think it's a very youthful fragrance. It's not like the Dior Homme Intense. That one's gonna be a mature fragrance. This one is gonna be more youthful. So if that's where you're at, if that's what you're trying to embody, if that's what you want to smell like, this is a fragrance that you definitely should check out. Moving along, we have fragrance number 6. And I forgot to mention this, but these fragrances are in no particular order. I'm really just grabbing them how I set them down. So these aren't in order of fragrances I recommend the most or I think is best. It's just 10 fall fragrances that I think are amazing for this time of year. So number 6 is going to be Versace Eros Flame. Now, of course, Versace Eros has become one of the most popular fragrances. It's known to be a fragrance great for clubbing, going out, partying. This one, I think, fits the same bill, but in my opinion, is a better fragrance. The notes in this one tell you that this is a citrus fragrance. Off rip, I get the citrus notes, especially in the opening. It's kind of hard to put my finger on it. I smell the orange, definitely smell the orange. It's had some vanilla, so you get some of the sweetness in there. It's a bit peppery, so it has that spice in it as well. This one, I wouldn't say I would categorize as a clubbing fragrance. It's a bit louder than your everyday fragrance, so it's not something I would recommend to wear every day. It's a bit louder than that, but it's definitely one that you would wear when you want to make a statement, when you want to make sure that people know your presence or know you are present. That's the vibe I get out of this fragrance. When I first smelled this, and I bought this probably maybe like early spring, when I first smelled it, I knew it was going to be a fall fragrance. I knew I would not be wearing this until the fall rolled around. So this is one that you should have in your fall collection. Next fragrance is going to be one of my personal fragrances. From the time I got my nose on this fragrance, I said, I need a bottle of this. I got my nose on it originally from a sample. If you saw my spring fragrance video, again, it should be up there in the cards. I'll also link it down below in the description section. If you saw that video, I mentioned that I bought a ton of samples because I was fairly new to fragrances and I didn't know really what I liked. Again, I wore the same 5 fragrances for some time. So I knew I needed to learn a little bit more. So I just bought a ton of samples. This fragrance was one of those samples that I bought. And when I smelled that fragrance, I was like, wow, I need it. Which fragrance is this, you may ask? Maison Margiela Replica Coffee Break. If you know anything about me, which a lot of you wouldn't know this, I am not a coffee drinker. Quite frankly, I can't stand coffee. I was about to say I can't stand the smell of coffee. I actually don't mind the smell of coffee, but the taste of coffee, it is just it's not for me. I'm more of a tea drinker. Funny enough, one of my first jobs was a donut slash coffee shop. I tried every combination of coffee I could think of to try to like it, and I just couldn't do it. I'm not going to say that it doesn't smell like coffee, because the coffee notes, the remnants of coffee is there. It's not a fragrance you smell and say, hey, that smells like coffee. The fragrance description on the bottle, it says creamy and cozy coffee. Creamy, I can get that. It does have a bit of a creaminess to it. This is considered to be a gourmand fragrance. I do have one other on this list, which is also a gourmand fragrance. You may want to take a guess if you'd like down below in the comment section before I get to it. And if you're not familiar with what a gourmand fragrance is, basically it mimics the smell of something you eat or drink. The notes of this fragrance are going to be lavender, vanilla, coffee, milk, tonka bean. It's warm and sweet at the same time, but it's not overly sweet. This fragrance is known to be unisex, as well as all the replica fragrances under Margiela. Men and women can both wear it. This is an amazing fall fragrance. You can wear it in the winter as well. You can wear it in the spring. However, the fall is where this one shines. Now, did you take your guesses for the next gourmand fragrance? Because it's here. I'm about to show it to you right now. Did you take your guesses? If not, take your time to take your guesses before I introduce it. If you browse fragrance YouTube, you hear this fragrance recommended and mentioned a lot. With me learning and doing my researches and my Googles and all the things that we all should do to learn, I kept seeing and hearing about this fragrance. And that fragrance is Guerlain LOM IDL Eau de Parfum, Cherry Almond. Hearing that, you may think, nah, I don't know if I want to smell like that. Trust me. This fragrance smells absolutely amazing. This is the perfect, and when I say perfect, I mean perfect fall fragrance. You can wear it in the winter as well, but in the fall, like most of these that I've shown you, is where it shines. Cherry, almond, vanilla. This is a fragrance that you would think is going to be a bit feminine, and some may feel that way. I think this is such a masculine fragrance. I don't know what it is, it just does it for me. I know I'm spraying all of these fragrances, but I'm getting all of them. I'm getting everything. If you love fall fragrances, you love that richness, the warmness, the coziness, it's hard for me to just tell you that you're going to like it. I don't know if you're gonna like it, but I would strongly recommend you, if you haven't, get your nose on this and report back to me. Let me know if you find out about this fragrance from this video. Come back and let me know, did I steer you wrong? If so, I'll take that, and I'll apologize to you for steering you wrong. But if that's not the case, if you come back to me and say like, yo, I had to grab this fragrance because you said this and that about it, let me know as well. I would love to hear that, because this is definitely it. We're getting down to the wire, and we have another fragrance. It's going to give you that warmness, those richness, the vanilla. This one is going to be Giorgio Armani's Stronger With You. And this one is primarily a fall winter scent. So this is where you're going to wear this one. It's definitely one of my, keep getting in my eye. It's one of my favorite fragrances, especially when it comes to these notes. You're getting what the fall is all about in this fragrance. That cinnamon latte stuff, you know what I'm talking about. I don't drink it, so I don't really know, but that's the vibe I get out of this one. All right, we reached the last fragrance. This is fragrance number 10 out of this video, 10 out of 10. What do you think it is? Out of this entire list, there's one fragrance that is known to be one of the most sought after fall winter scents. What do you think it is? Ford Oud Wood. When I had my 5 fragrances, there were certain fragrances that I leaned more towards other, and I didn't even really know why that was. Now I do. I like woody scents. Ford, just wasted a couple sprays there. This smells like money. You know how if you smell an old dollar bill or an old 20, old 50, old 100, it has that smell to it. And I don't really smell this in money like I used to when I was younger. Money just has a certain smell to it. And whatever that is, it smells like Ford Oud Wood to me. It's a smell that's going to be a bit mature. I couldn't picture a teenager wearing this fragrance. I couldn't picture a guy in his 20s wearing this fragrance. I picture a guy that's in his 30s up. Now you get the woodiness in there. Of course, you get the oud, you get the spiciness. Fall and winter is primarily going to be when you're wearing this fragrance. If you love woody, rich fragrances, then Ford Oud Wood is one that I would definitely check out. But of course, it does come at a hefty price tag. So if spending this much money on this fragrance is something that you're just not wanting to do, my recommendation would be Versace Oud. I think that's what it's called. Wait a minute. Oud Noir. Oud Noir smells a lot like Oud Wood. You don't have the same richness though. It's not as deep of a fragrance, but it's very similar. And you're gonna save yourself quite a bit of money. Oud fragrances, fall fragrances. That does it for the 10 fall fragrances, the 10 sexy fall fragrances that you should have in your fall fragrance collection. Do you like the ones that I chose? If not, let me know which ones you didn't like and let me know why you don't like it. Also, let me know if you guys are liking these fragrance videos. I do intend to continue doing these. I've actually grown a passion for the fragrances, so I want to keep talking about them and sharing my opinions about fragrances and sharing what I like and don't like about some of them as well. If there are any fragrances that you might not think I have, because I do have quite a bit at this point, it extends way past from what I've shown you today. But if you have any recommendations, things that you think I may not have, let me know down below in the comment section. I do plan to do another one next season, so be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, in between time, I will have lots more content dropping. So make sure, if this is your first time watching me, make sure you hit the like button for me, especially if you enjoyed the video. Comment, let me know what you think about the video, and subscribe so you can be a part of this family and come back to watch future content. And make sure you click the bell so you're notified when I drop some more videos. That does it for me. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace.